Welcome back to the second episode of painting an icon of Irenaeus. At the end of the last episode, I said that in this episode I would be putting the image onto the panel first up. Well, I lied. So I also said during that first episode that I wasn't happy with the colours of the clothing on the model that I'd chosen. I was happy with a lot of things about the model, that it's a full-length figure, that there are flowing garments, that the saint is holding a really good posture. I remember years ago in an art class, not in egg tempera but in watercolour, but the teacher was saying that there's a sort of an order of priority when it comes to art, and I think I can remember most of them. I just seem to remember that colour came way down the order. At the top of the order was the subject. So, okay, I've chosen a good subject, Saint Irenaeus. The next is composition. So, getting the picture composed well onto the frame. Okay, I've done the sketching for that to work that out. And then, I'm not sure whether this is the next on the list, but pretty high on the list is contrast. That is the contrast between light and dark. Now, I get that on every icon that I paint because you've got dark shadows and you've got highlights, but there's another contrast that sometimes I don't pay attention to, and that is contrast between two different colours, say two garments. Now, my teacher pointed out to me that my painting of Joseph of Arimathea lacks that necessary contrast to make the painting more interesting than it could be. It's not quite how he said it. He used the word boring somewhere in his critique, but I take what he means and I'm grateful for his help. And so I've thought about this a lot, and so decided that I need to attend to that issue of contrast now before I go any further. Choosing colours and getting the contrasts between darker images or darker clothing and lighter clothing, even though they're different colours. Let me give you an example. So here is Joseph of Arimathea as I painted it, with a green and orange. Now, I'd also said that I wasn't really happy with the colours of the model I was using. And now, a way of checking as to whether your contrasts are working all right is to look at the image in black and white or in grayscale. And I think looking at the grayscale image of the original model of Joseph of Arimathea can see that there's not much difference. In black and white, the red looks like the blue. And this kind of translated over to the image that I did, even though I was using green and orange. When we look at it in grayscale, look at what happens. Even more, if we look at it in sepia, they could just about be the same. And that's why it's less interesting or boring than it could be. So take another example, the icon I painted of Barnabas. Now look at him in sepia, and there you can see a good contrast. Now, when it comes to the model that I've chosen for Irenaeus, and I said I wasn't happy with the clothing, with the colours of the clothing, happy with the shape of it and stuff like that, but not happy with the colours. What I think I was really saying was I wasn't happy with the contrast. Look at what happens in sepia. No wonder it looks somewhat less than it could if there was good contrast. So, the task now is to work out how it should look to get decent contrast. So I need to do some more sketching and some painting on smaller versions of this icon before I start tackling the big job.